Welcome back to Living with a Classic, and fall is upon us here. Had some comments in previous video that I'm starting to wear knitted hats. Well, yeah, it's starting to get cold here. So some cars are being put away for winter. Some have 1 or 2 runs left of the year, and then they're going to be put away. And I thought, we need to do a fleet update because things are changing. 2 cars are leaving the fleet, but when cars leave the fleet, that means new cars are coming in. And I think that's going to happen more and more. I think some cars are just going to stay on the channel for a while, and then I'll move on with them. That will be more exciting for you guys as well, because we'll have a bit of rotation on some cars and try new things. And that's what it's all about, trying some new things. I do have a couple of core cars I'm never getting rid of, as you know. I do love my old V12s, but I think some change is good. We're going to go through the core fleet, and I'll let you know what's going on with them, and then you're going to find out which 2 are leaving. There are some customer cars in the background. I'll touch on them briefly. You'll probably see them more in future videos. In the corner, we have the white XJ12. Sadly, it didn't get its big trip this year, but we're going to do something with it next year. Probably has a couple of runs left of the year. As soon as the weather's nice, I'm going to take it out. Runs beautifully. Still has a slight little exhaust issue. We're going to sort that during the winter, but I think it's going to be pretty involved. But otherwise, running beautifully. Never leaving the fleet, that one. And another car never leaving the fleet, of course, is the red XJS convertible. Had a great time with my dad this summer when we drove a long time. It needs to come out one more time just to fill up with fuel. It has a half tank of fuel. I want to have a full tank when I put it away for winter. So they get one more wash, put away a cover over it, and then we'll take it out in spring again. I also developed an oil leak while we were driving back. It's the oil pressure sender up in the middle is leaking pretty badly, so that will be replaced and cleaned up during the winter as well. 2 customer cars here. If you remember, I drove a Mark II a while back. That's this one. This has changed color now to gunmetal gray. Really nice paint job. I'm just doing some small tune-up things with it and tuning it and helping with to refit some chrome things, but that's about it. Series 3 XJ6 in here for a tune-up work as well, and rough running at idle. Same sort of idea. This one's probably going to be here a little bit longer. Customer just wanted to drive it down before there was salt and stuff on the road, so maybe it will be here. Hopefully I'm going to try and get it back to him with parts before we have salt on the roads, but we'll see what happens. Over here, well, that's the part car. My friend's Series 1 XJ6, that's just sitting there. That is the XJRS that you guys have seen a bit of. We have 3 videos so far. Next step is to get fuel pumps and things, but I think that's going to wait until we pull this thing up into the workshop and can actually properly work on it then. But we do have spark, and we do have signal to the injectors, so that's a really good start for getting that thing on the road. This has been a little thing on Patreon, ongoing. A free car I got way too long ago. I'm going to give it one last shot to fix some electrical issues on it and sell it on, and that's going to go into some future projects. So hopefully next week or so I will be able to book this for an MOT and sell it. But I don't count that as one of the cars leaving the fleet. The Daimler XJ40 is one of the cars that is leaving the fleet. I know some of you guys will be sad about that, and I had it for sale once and then regretted it, but I realized I never drive it, and that is a shame. And it's just because whenever I want to take this style of car out, I always take my XJ6. And if I want to take something with V12, take the XJ12 or the XJS, and then I'm building another XJS. So I don't really think it has a place on the channel at the moment, and I don't want to have a car that just sits and I don't drive. And yes, I take it out every now and then just to keep it moving, but I would rather this goes to someone else who can cherish it more and enjoy it. It's in pretty good shape. It's a good driver. You can fix a couple more things on it. So I'm going to let it go for not very much. Locally, try and just sell it on a Jag Enthusiast website for the local club. And hopefully someone picks it up, and hopefully someone continues working on it and continues enjoying it. It's a lovely, beautiful old thing. I love the interior. It's very, okay, you guys can't see, it's extremely dark. But yeah, this thing sadly is leaving the channel. And that means there's one more car leaving the channel. Let's go check that one out. Actually, before we have a look at the car leaving the fleet and the other cars parked outside, this happened a couple weeks ago. All the grass is gone here and we have gravel put down. It's packed really well, which means I can drive cars in and out of the workshop all year now without having to basically power slide into the workshop. So that is a great thing. In here we have carbureted XJ12. I am about halfway done with coolant hoses on it. And that is one of the last big things on it. So carbs are off. I took them off from here so they can still stay tuned. And just doing the coolant hoses. The bolt that snapped over there, so I drilled it out, need to tap that. But otherwise, not that much left. Well, I found that one thing. I was going to raise up the rear now, and the mounts for the IRS are completely shot because the rear end stayed on the ground. So that needs to be replaced as well. But otherwise, this thing is going to go for an MOT, some test drives, and return to the owner. And then we have S-Type over there, which I am working on as well. Not much left on that, so that will be a video really soon, I think, on starting it up. And I'm working on that as well. It's currently taken apart. But over here, we have sort of the 3 dailies. And one of these is leaving the fleet. But let's start with the Range Rover. Range Rover is doing very well. Very dirty at the moment. Wife still absolutely loves this thing. Kids love it and everything. It is definitely, this one's staying on the channel. Right now it's running really, really well. And nothing really wrong with it. Has a bit of a clunk in the front end, which I think is sway bar links. So I'm going to have a look at that and order some up. But otherwise, it's doing well. And, well, there's a new car joining the fleet. And that thing has a purpose as well, because that is something that my wife can drive for a while. Still get the kids in it. While this thing will get taken off to the body shop to sort out the rear arches and all of that. And then make this thing really nice. Because this is a keeper. So we're going to spend some money on the cosmetics on it. Make it look really nice. Over here, we have my current daily, 1975 XJ6, taking me to work and all of that. Running well. Has a slight misfire due to some ignition thing, I think. Old ignition module. It has the Series 3 ignition system. But we're going to do a fun ignition upgrade on this thing, working together with a company. So that will come in the future, and hopefully that's going to really make a difference. Otherwise, it's running well, doing what it should. And last but not least, the Saab is leaving. And, well, I actually didn't think I was going to keep it for as long as I've had. It was just a temporary stopgap because we needed something with tow bar. And this thing came out for $450, something like that. And it's been good. I've done the rear brakes, as you know. I've done the rear part of the exhaust. I've done a starter on it. And otherwise, it's been just working well. But it is time to let it go. We've used it as a lot as a spare family car, but we really need a different sort of spare family car, something that is more of a wagon that can fit more things. And I want something that looks a little nicer. This thing is solid, but it has a lot of cosmetic rust. Clear coat is peeling. It doesn't have AC, just a lot of things like that. So it's been fun to have. It's been fun to experience the whole Saab thing. I'm going to move this on to someone else. It will make a really, really good first car for someone, or just a spare car, but it's moving on. I realized I forgot 2 cars. Well, the 1975 XJS is still at the body shop. It has the last little bit of painting done, and it's taking a little bit of time, but that doesn't really matter. A friend of mine is doing it for a really, really good price. So I told him whenever he has a regular paying customer to take that car in between. So he's done lots of work in between and just does mine, in the spare time. Not in a great hurry, so that works really well. But I think I should be able to pick it up by the end of October. And then that is a big thing happening on the channel, starting to put that thing back together. And that's going to be, it's going to be really cool with all the parts from Simple Performance and everything else going on with that car. That leaves the project that we don't do much with, 1966 S-Type. No, I haven't forgotten. No, I haven't given up. But I've told you guys it's going to take a while because it's going to be rather expensive. And then the thing with the XJS sort of came in between, and I was very lucky to get sponsored with that. So I'm of course taking advantage of that great partnership, and I want to work together, which means the XJS went before in the queue. But once that thing is pretty much back on, I'll put funds over to the S-Type, because the next thing on that car is the really pricey bit. Going to the body shop and paint shop. It's pretty much all stripped. It has a couple pieces of chrome left on it, but it's pretty much all stripped and ready to go. So no, I haven't forgotten about that, but it's gonna wait a little longer before we start working on the 66 S-Type again. But no, it's not leaving the fleet. It's definitely gonna get restored, and I think it's gonna look fantastic when it's done. So that was the whole update. Just a quick thing, but I felt that there's some changes going on you need to know. Like I said, the Saab has been good to me, but it is time to let it go to have something else. We used it quite a bit this summer with towing things and kids and not having AC and all that. We want something that is a little more suited for our needs. But in the close to 2 years that we've had it, or a year and a half, I think, it's been good to us. It's been a good, solid car. And the XJ40, yes, it is leaving, but I think this really is for the best. I may have one again in the future. At some point, I think I want to have an X300 because I've never had one, so that would be fun. And it felt ridiculous getting an X300 when I had an XJ40 because they're so similar. So I think this would be a good decision. But if you do live nearby in Sweden and you're interested in a pretty good XJ40, it's definitely not perfect, but it's a pretty good one, you can email me down below and we can talk about it. And yes, you guys on Patreon, you know what the new car is, so don't let everyone else know. Don't say anything in comments down below, let them guess. And let's just say it's a bit of a controversial model, but I think you guys will like it, or I really hope so. Otherwise, should make for, if you guys hate it, that should make for a good video as well. Anyways, if you like this video, please give a thumbs up, share it with your friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Until next time, I'm Adam. This was Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.